I'm going to go ahead with the meeting beginning ritual.
起立，面向佛堂，参加三鞠躬、一鞠躬、再鞠躬、三鞠躬，参加各位点传是一鞠躬，开班一鞠躬，请坐下。Please be seated.
Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to the October 28th installment of our Tao study group. I promise you this will be a surprising presentation for me. It's been a very long time that we've been doing this together. Fall and winter, the gray seasons. Once again, it's starting to get cold here in scenic downtown Indiana. And once again, I'm complaining about it and threatening to move to Taiwan. This year, I'm a couple of months early because it's getting pretty nasty outside, and I really do not like being cold. It's kind of an annual event. It gets cold, I start threatening to move to the Pacific Rim somewhere. And, once again, I have some pretty mixed feelings about it because I love looking at the color in the leaves and the changing of the seasons. I even think the snow's beautiful, but it only takes about 15 seconds of wandering around in it for me to remember why I very don't like freezing. And these days, the cold weather really makes it tough for me, and that's happening earlier this year than it has in years past. And so once again, I'm kind of looking forward to spring already. And so once again, we're going through kind of an annual talk about the parallels between the changing seasons of the year and life. But this year, unlike years previous, this change in seasons is going to result in some life changes for me. We spend an awful lot of time here talking about what it means to live a life of cultivating the Tao teachings. And that's a good thing. It's kind of what this meeting is all about. And I think it's for those of us who've seen the value in these teachings, it's an ever increasingly important part of our lives. There's not a day that goes by where I don't learn something from what I study and from what I hear here and from what I try to apply in my life. And it has never ceased to benefit me. And I think at the core of those is making good and proper choices that help us move our lives forward and that honor our responsibilities and commitments, and hopefully concurrently bring joy and fulfillment into our lives. And all of those things are remarkably positive things, right? Every one of us here to a person desires to bring out the best in ourselves and others. And sometimes we even manage to succeed at doing that somewhat. And I think way more often than not, we're not able to always see the good that's done by the example we set and the kindnesses that we administer. But I know that the effects are felt and that the benefits are received and that the assistance is helpful in the lives of others, even when we're not privy to seeing the results. And thinking about this, I have spent virtually, really, an entire lifetime dedicated to both the search for and the spreading of these teachings with varying degrees of success. But I've never regretted a moment that I've spent in the pursuit of these teachings. Because having spent a lifetime trying to help others learn to live in the Tao, I've learned those lessons alongside the people I've tried to assist and the people that I've tried to help understand the teachings. And more often than not, as a result of trying to do those things, I've learned an awful lot of lessons myself that I try to pass on here. And as it is today, I have one lesson left. The final lesson of living a Tao-centered life is carrying on those teachings to the end of that Tao-centered life. And it's, in my opinion, kind of when we prepare ourselves for the end of life, that the rubber meets the road, as it is, in terms of our faith and our commitment and our determination to follow this set of teachings. It's the point at which we learn for ourselves if our faith is genuine or simply convenient. If we were really trying to divine a real and genuine understanding of the teachings, or whether we were just following the church of what's happening now. And as it is right this very moment, I am preparing myself for that event. I've spent a couple of fun-filled and wonderful days with my cardiologist and my family doc and a couple other doctors. And my health is beginning to deteriorate. And so now we got to have this discussion. Okay, Derek, I know this is going to come as a surprise to you. For that, I apologize, but I don't think it's an undue surprise or one that we can't survive. But after the joint meeting, I'm going to retire from full-time Sunday participation. I'm going to start spending some weekends with my kids and my family and having fun with them, because for the better part of the last 15, 20 years, most of Aaron's life and all of Samantha's, every weekend of my life, I've been teaching somebody on Saturdays and Sundays both. And it's time for me to change that. The final lesson of our lives is to leave this life free of regrets for what we did or didn't do, free from the wishes for things we didn't say, the love we never spoke, the lessons we never learned, the chances we didn't take. We waste so much time in our lives afraid to be wrong or mistaken or embarrassed or judged that we give up a limitless supply of joy bound up in our fears and our anxieties. We ignore the happiness that's right in front of us to chase the happiness we think we can never have. And it's bananas. I have spent years teaching others where every Saturday and Sunday I've had something to do. And in doing so, there's been an upside, significant upsides. I've taught my children the benefits of discipline, the joy of the Tao teachings, the meaning of this faith, the importance of seeking this path. But now it's time for me to just have some fun with them. I do not want to leave this life having ignored the desire of my children in particular to just have me at home for them. For those of you who have kids, you'll understand that. For those of you who do not, you'll have to take my word for it. In either event, it's how it is. Retirement for me doesn't mean invisibility. For as long as you guys want me around, I'll be happy to be around. Okay? I'm just not going to do it every Sunday of the world. I love these teachings. I've embraced these teachings. I've done the best that I know how to pass these teachings on to others, and that part of my life isn't going to change. I will always be there for anyone who needs me. I'll always be there anytime any of you call me. I just need to take some of my time back. I need to reinvest it before I can't anymore. Always remember that the goal of the teachings is to help you know what the right thing for you to do is at the time. You got to listen to that intuition and follow it. And you can't be afraid of being wrong or making mistakes. If that happens, you change course. But if you wait long enough, the only thing you'll be able to do is say, I wished I had done right before you breathe your last breath. And that's an absolute tragedy. For as long as we have days out in front of us, however long that is, we need to evaluate those choices every morning when we get out of bed. You know, I always promise to follow these teachings for my life. And I really hope that my life will end as a good example to follow for how to do that as well. You know, this could turn into a real sad, maudlin, macabre kind of a discussion, but it really shouldn't. Everything that lives dies one day. That's going to happen to me too. Okay? It is. The truth is that none of us knows how much time we have in this life. We don't. Any one of us could walk out of the front door tomorrow morning and be hit by a school bus, and that'd be it. Any of us could die at any moment. When we're young, we're all invincible. When we're middle-aged, we're all too busy. And when we're old, we don't want to look at dying. But I've survived 3 heart attacks, an aneurysm, diabetes, and COPD for more years than I ever had a right to survive them for. And that stuff's starting to catch up with me now. And that's a process that isn't going to let go, so I got to look. Like I said, the truth is everything that lives dies one day. It's just that not everyone has the privilege of being able to help others understand that as that time comes. And whether it's a day from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, there are still lessons to be learned. Although I significantly doubt that mine are going to be 10 years from now. Just remember, guys, change is the only constant in the Tao. It's not always good or bad. It simply is. It is the nature of the universe. And this is one of those changes. But I love y'all a whole bunch. And in as much as it's possible for me to remain involved, I will absolutely do that, just at a significantly reduced level. As always, I thank you guys so very much for letting me share with you. This has not been an easy decision. This has been a process of some months. I've also retired from teaching full-time at the school because I can no longer teach my combat class without the fear of bleeding to death. And man, I'd rather not do that in Dr. Bob's office. So it is what it is. And it is the way it's got to be. Thank you all so much for letting me share with you. I'm sure there's going to be questions. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and do the meeting ending ritual, everybody. 起立，面向佛堂，持架深鞠躬，一鞠躬，再鞠躬，三鞠躬，持架各位顶传十一鞠躬，斜翻一鞠躬。Well done, everybody. Thank you so much.